been investigating a doctor, and I was considering bringing a lawsuit against him.
For you to do someone else.
Sabrina is officially stepping into her whole phase.
Like, I mean, she's walking around in a daze and she's doing things she doesn't normally do. Young man?
Hey, welcome to Miss China Review Room, where truth and scenes are exposed. Hey, my people. I was sick last week, so I didn't get to post my review on episodes 5, but this is episode 6. I am just going to bypass episode 5 because there wasn't really much going on episode 5. I think I touched base on that trailer already, so I'm going to just hop into episode 6, which is entitled New Normal. So I'm going to jump right into this, guys. So before I start, let me not forget to say thank you guys for subscribing and being a part of my channel. I am going to get so much better with dropping my reviews in a timely manner. So I appreciate everybody who likes and subscribes to this channel. I will be posting every week. I'm going to get on top of this, guys. I promise. And I appreciate all of you guys who actually listen and interact with my channel. It's greatly appreciated. Some of you guys I am also a subscriber of, so I love you guys' channel. Some of the people that follow me, I'm on their channel as well. So I appreciate everything and everybody who subscribes. So before I start this review, I would like for you guys, again, people to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification button so you know when I post new content. Let's jump right into this. So the episode again is entitled New Normal. So we start off the episode with Maurice and Sabrina. So basically, people, this thing with Maurice and Sabrina is hilarious, right? I enjoy Maurice so much. Maurice is so funny. So Maurice is sitting there trying to convince Sabrina to get back out in a life and enjoy her life, start back dating, and forget about what happened with her and Rich. Now, my only thing is this is not going to be the answer for Sabrina's hurt. Right? Because when you hurt, sometimes, going out is really not going to do anything because you're going to constantly compare the people that you meet to the guy that you were previously with, right? You want to try to compare, and if they don't look a certain type of way, you're going to be standoffish. And I don't know if right now is the best time for Sabrina to explore. But Maurice is intended on having Sabrina go out and explore tonight. Literally, people, this is the same day she gave Rich the boot. I don't think she should be going out right now. But their whole scene was definitely hilarious. I mean, they had me going. They were hilarious. As far as Sabrina scenes, storyline this season, I'm not too sure if I like it. I might have to continue to watch Sabrina's process as she goes on to move on from Rich. But I don't know, this whole thing, I like it right now because it's comedy. Maurice is funny. He's trying to get her out. And I think this is where we're going to get the comedy part of the show between her and Danny and Danny's cousin. I think that's where we're going to get more of the comedy from, which I can appreciate. So then we move on from there, and then we go to Andy. Now, people, Andy is my girl. I love me some Andy down. I really do. But Andy is getting on my last nerve, and so are the writers. When it comes to Andy, why do they have her jumping from relationship to relationship? I'm exhausted with it. I don't know why they keep bringing Robin in just to constantly remove him from the show. I don't know if Robin have another show he's on. I'm trying to look that up and see if Robin is involved with any type of other shows, because I'm not too sure why they throw Robin in and out of this show. I enjoy Robin. I think Robin is a great actor, and I think him and Andy has the ultimate chemistry. But every time you turn around, Andy is never ready for Robin. And I'm not sure why the writers keep making it that way. Now she wants to get to know Dr. Vaughn. So back to the scene, Andy gets a phone call, but Andy is actually on the phone with Sharon. Well, before she calls Sharon, she gets a call. She calls and leaves a message for Robin. She explains to Robin that she agrees that him and her, like, she should take her time. And she does tell him that, once he gets the message, he can give her a call or not. And if I was Robin, I wouldn't even bother anymore because Andy is too confusing at this point. But she's ready to entertain a stranger. This was the problem that she had when it came to her and Jordan. And look at the situation she's in with Jordan and Penelope. Like, girl, you didn't learn your lesson yet. You don't know this guy, Dr. Vaughn. Of course, he's a doctor, and he may seem upfront and honest. But Andy, come on now. You don't know Dr. Vaughn, but you ready to dig into Dr. Vaughn, but you're not ready to entertain Robin, who you knew for all these years. I don't get that part. I'm not sure, again, and people, excuse me. I'm not sure, people, again, maybe Robin has another show he may be doing or he may be on, which he cannot be on Sistas as a main character on the show. So maybe that's it. So they have to pull Robin in and out, but to give a storyline for Andy. But I don't know, people. I'm not really feeling that whole thing with Andy. In the mix of her leaving a message for Robin, she gets a phone call from Nurse Sharon. Now, Nurse Sharon is the nurse that was taking care of Karen, the black nurse. So she is now giving Andy some information about Dr. Cruz, right? So Dr. Cruz, Sharon tells Dr. Cruz that, Sharon tells Andy that Dr. Cruz has another incident where another lady has lost blood. I'm not sure if she's telling her that the next patient had lost their lives, but Andy just so happens to know the young lady that just had a situation with Dr. Cruz. So Sharon is a little bit afraid because she doesn't want Andy to tell that it's her giving her the information about everything that's going on with Dr. Cruz. But I think somehow that's going to backfire, and somebody is going to find out the information that Andy is getting is actually from Dr. Vaughn and Nurse Sharon. All right, so Andy might have to wind up defending Dr. Vaughn, Karen, and Nurse Sharon. But we'll see about that part going down the line. As the episode or the seasons of the season go forward. Nurse Sharon, again, is giving Andy some information on Dr. Vaughn, and then she realized it's a friend of hers that is now going through a situation with Dr. Cruz. She now has a friend that's going through a situation with Dr. Cruz, the same as Karen. So we leave from there and we go over to Karen. Karen, people, finally comes out of her room. When she comes out of the room, I had a little bit of faith because I had faith. I had a little bit of faith in her because she actually looks at baby Faith, and Aaron looks a little bit scared and worried at the same time. He almost feels like, wait a minute, almost like, okay, he's trying to talk to her. She's like, no, get off of me. I have to cook something to eat. She's in a daze and she's still very much depressed, and she's going through postpartum, right? Now, for me, people, I have not went through postpartum before, right? Maybe I did and I didn't realize it. I have 2 children, but my children are older. So I don't know if I actually went through postpartum. So if you guys did go through postpartum and you're listening to this review, I would like to see what you have to say about what Karen is going through. Is this truly postpartum? Because I am not really sure. A lot of people, or a lot of us viewers, think that this has everything to do with her losing Zach's baby. Not that she wouldn't care that she lost Aaron's baby, but it's tenfold because it's Zach's baby. So now that's what a lot of people are saying. Yeah, she's hurt, but I think that if it was Aaron's baby, she would at least try to bond with Zach's baby, even though she lost Aaron's baby. I think that's the problem here. She's not really trying to bond with the baby at all because, of her situation. I get it. People are feeling like with Zach. Now I'm up in the air with this because I don't really know what postpartum is. Along with depression, it could be a lot, right? So Aaron is trying to console Karen and talk to her and see how he could really help her. Karen sits down and then they have this conversation where she's trying to tell him that she doesn't feel like, she can really be a mother because she couldn't keep her child. And, Aaron tries to assure her that, she could get through this and he's there and everything. But at this point, people, after a while, I believe that Aaron is, I feel like Aaron knows that is more than what Karen is saying and is more that she's really depressed about, right? That comes along with her postpartum, right? I think that Aaron kind of senses that it's really tenfold because it's Zach's baby as well. So that's something that she really wanted, on top of her, going through the whole situation of losing the baby as well. So Aaron is trying to talk to her, and people, I definitely think that Aaron is going to wind up taking baby Faith, because I don't think Aaron is going to think that Karen is mentally stable enough to keep baby Faith. I think it's going to be a blowout where she's going to ask Aaron to leave, especially after she sees Zach. I think that she's going to ask Aaron to leave, and Aaron's going to tell her he's going to take the baby with him, right? Now, at first, it may be okay for her, but when she goes back to try to get the baby back, I think that's where we see more drama, and that's where this storyline might end up at, right? That's what I'm figuring. It's just my theory, people. I'm not saying this is actually going to happen. It's just my theory on what may happen between Aaron and Karen, because we all know Karen is not really in love with Aaron at all, right? I think she's just, it was convenient. Fatima is pregnant. Zach is moving on, but she still felt like she had a tie to Zach because she was having his baby, even though she was comfortable with moving on because she knew she was pregnant with his baby. Now she has lost his child, so it's a different type of feeling. She doesn't know what to do at this point. I believe that's what she's going through as well. So we move on from there, and the next episode, the next scene, we go back to Andy. Andy is again having a conversation. Well, Andy decides to call Danny. She calls Danny because she's been calling Karen and Karen hasn't been answering. Now, in a mix of her doing, well, before that happens, she finishes her conversation with Nurse Sharon, and then her boss walks in. I always forget his name. He comes in and she explains to him that she is working on a case, and the doctor's name is a malpractice suit against a doctor called Dr. Cruz. And inside of that conversation, her boss tells her, Dr. Cruz, what's his first name? She tells him his first name, and he realized that's his golfing buddy. So on this scene, I was like, okay, so that's your golfing buddy is more important than what she's telling you that she believes that he's doing, and this is one of the partners in the firm. Now, like I said, people, this is not going to turn out good for Andy. I believe Andy is going to wind up leaving this firm and starting her own firm. And I believe that she will take Fatima with her. I know that it's going to be friction between her and Fatima, but I think they will get past that. But as far as her digging into this situation with Dr. Cruz, and now that she knows her boss is very good friends with Dr. Cruz, I believe Andy is going to try to take down all of them. She's going to realize her boss may be a little bit racist. She may realize that this is not the firm for her. I believe the writers are trying to elevate Andy into having her own firm and being her own boss. So Andy was very surprised to realize that her boss actually knows Dr. Cruz. So we're going to leave that there. The next scene is Danny. Danny seemed like in this scene she's going through a little something. She says she's very hot. I think maybe she's having an anxiety attack. She gets her coworker comes over, which is the one she had the case against, and I always forget his name as well. He comes over and he's trying to be funny, and Danny is just like, they having this little banter backwards and forwards. But people, I can see these two actually becoming cool, just like Paige and Maurice and Sabrina. So I think that's where we're going to get more comedy at, is that these two are probably going to become cool for some apparent reason. I'm just feeling like that will happen. So their scene was pretty short. It really wasn't much to it. They have a conversation. He's trying to explain to Danny that I'm sorry, I got it playing. He's explaining to Danny about the job. It was like, I didn't really pay too much attention to this scene right here because it really wasn't much to it. They just going backwards and forwards, basically. So we leave from there and we go back to Maurice and Sabrina. Maurice has a whole gameplay on how Sabrina is going to start her whole season. I'm like, oh my God, Maurice is hilarious. I love me some Maurice down. Sabrina is confused or how she's supposed to even date now, and she act like she's been in a relationship with Rich for so long. From what we know, she has been in a relationship with Rich probably about a year or two. So girl, you not that rusty. But Maurice is trying to help her. In the mix of him writing down his game plan, Paige comes in. When Paige comes in, it gets even more hilarious. Paige lets them know that she's been in her whole season before, and she just tries to explain to Sabrina, just try to not invite people back to your house, and basically how to date right now, especially with what's going on in the world right now. So yeah, she tells her how to date and what she should do. So she's important in this whole gameplay. So for tonight, Sabrina is going to a dating, I think she's at like a speed dating event or like a dating event kind of thing. So they're just trying to spruce her up for tonight. Paige decides that she will be rolling with them to this dating, speed dating event. So it was hilarious. It was really hilarious. Maurice is so funny. I've seen a lot of people say, what happened to Maurice's boyfriend? I know. They kind of pulled that scene. I don't know if Maurice would rather just play this part and not have to interact with men. It depends on if he's actually, gay or not. And he's not. So I guess some scenes, I don't know if we'll get Maurice back in a relationship. I think it's easier for him to play this role with just be as Sabrina's, like friend, gay friend. So yeah. I'm not too sure because a lot of people did ask what happened to Maurice's boyfriend. So that's my thoughts on that. So next up, the next scene is Zach. We're back at Zach at Fatima's house. And Zach is kind of laid back after Danny leaves. He's still a little bit stressed, but he looks a little bit better. He gets a phone call, and who is it? His wifey, Fatima. So they have a good conversation. I feel like this conversation went well, and it made Fatima feel a little bit better. But Zach is still, down. But I could see he's kind of trying to pull himself together so he could be there for Fatima. So as far as this part goes, I know we are hearing that Zach and Fatima will separate for some of season 9 of Sistas. But I'm not sure where that is going to come from, because right now it seems like that might not happen, but I won't throw that part out the window because something can happen after Zach goes and sees Karen, right? So maybe Fatima is going to feel away, but something may transpire where Fatima feel like it's too much and she wants to stay, calm for the baby. So I think that it's possible that she may walk away for a little while, right? I hope not, but if the rumors are true, then yeah, they are going to separate. But at this point right here, I can honestly say I'm not sure why that's going to happen other than after he goes to see Karen. So they have their little conversation, and Fatima is so glad that Danny went by to see Zach, and Zach is also happy. They have a little moment where they laugh and everything, and I felt like this scene was needed, and I feel like Zach is again trying to pull himself out of it. So then we go back to Andy, and Andy is back talking to her boss about the situation with Karen, and he says that Andy should not dig into this situation until basically she has more evidence. Andy is really not feeling the conversation, so Andy looked like she has something up her sleeve, right? So we leave from there and we go back to Karen. And Aaron is still pleading with Karen to, let him help her. But like I said, people, it's not really much to say about Karen's scenes because we all feel like maybe Karen is going tenfold because it's Zach's baby. She's more depressed because it's Zach's baby. Aaron gets a call from Danny. Danny says that she's trying to get in contact with Karen and Karen has not been answering. Now, y'all know damn well Karen is not going to be answering the phone, not in the state of mind that you ladies left her. So you have to give her some time. And Andy, they're still pretty much focused on Karen. As far as Sabrina is really just trying to get her lick back from what Rich did to her. So Sabrina seemed like she's falling back from the situation, right? So and back to Danny and Aaron's conversation. Aaron tells Danny that everything that's going on with Karen. Danny's a little bit lost and Aaron doesn't really know what to do. So Danny decides that they're just gonna go over to see Karen. So we move from there and we go to these two. They're like brother and sister, Fatima and Hayden. Now, I think that what's going to happen with this, I don't know if Hayden is going to try to sabotage Fatima or something is going to go wrong now that Fatima is agreeing to let Hayden be involved with these cases that she have with these basketball players, right? Hayden is excited. So I'm not sure if they're going to have Hayden and Fatima like not really get along, but, have their banter while still working as professionals. But I don't know. But Fatima wasn't trying to hear it. She totally threatened Hayden and told him, listen, I'm going to let you in on this meeting. Now, Fatima is now working with Miss Marie's nephew. Miss Marie's nephew told another, because Miss Marie's nephew is actually a basketball player. So Miss Marie's nephew winds up telling some of his NBA players about Fatima. And after he has the conversation with them, now she's getting phone calls and a lot of the ball players are coming to specifically request Fatima, right? So I know that this may be a problem for Andy and Hayden is just trying to get in where he can fit in. Okay, so he may sabotage it, he may not. Now, or he may get jealous and try to go to Andy and tell Andy everything Fatima is doing and saying, and Andy may feel away, right? But Andy and Fatima is supposed to have some friction. So I don't know if the friction is going to come in at Andy is going to feel like Fatima, it seems like you took it upon yourself to get these ball players on. And we all know right now, Andy's focus is really Karen and trying to take down Dr. Cruz. So I don't know how much Andy is going to respect the fact that Fatima signed on these new people, because remember, Fatima is not a lawyer yet. So it's but so much that she can do. So if Fatima is taking on these cases, yeah, she may be getting the information and everything may be correct. But as far as Andy go, Andy may feel a way because that may be too much on her plate, especially her trying to dig into Dr. Cruz for Karen. So I think that's where conflict will come in at. And I could see that definitely happening. So next up, we go back to Zach. Zach is having a conversation with an older guy in the gym, and he just explains to him he doesn't know how to move forward a little bit. It seems like it's one thing after another, basically. This older guy gives him some good advice. I had people in the comments saying, isn't that the barber from Fatima? It is definitely not him. The barber from Fatima looks shorter, if I'm not mistaken. He wasn't as tall. Then you had some people saying, damn, what if this is Zach, turned out to be Zach's father? I'm like, where are these people getting this stuff from? Because how would that even be possible? He would just run into Zach in the gym and he winds up being his dad? I don't know about that. But Zach is going through it, but I could see him getting himself to a better place emotionally and mentally. So we leave from there and we go back to Andy. This is the point where Andy and Danny is having a conversation, and they decide that they need to actually go see Karen. Karen hasn't been answering the phone. Aaron told Danny how Karen is really not eating and she's doing weird things. She's going to pick out pots and doing stuff that she doesn't normally do and saying things that she doesn't normally say. Andy again and Danny decide that they're going to have to go over there again. They had, try to talk to her or, help her out. I don't know about Sabrina, guys, because Sabrina is speed date and she ain't worried about it. But we leave from that scene and we go back again to Aaron and Karen, and he is still begging and pleading. And there's not much I can say about Aaron and Karen's part because it's still based off of Karen being very depressed over the situation about losing her child. We leave from there and we go back to Zach having a conversation with the man in the gym, and he's just, again, people telling him that he feels like is one thing after another when it comes to his life. I feel like the gentleman in the gym did give him some good advice, and I believe they exchanged numbers or something. I'm not sure. I think they do. So we leave from there is back to Aaron and Karen, and Aaron is at this point, he is saying that he made them some dinner. She didn't eat it. The baby is there. This whole scene is just depressing. But as far as Karen goes, she's doing an amazing job on these scenes because she is very convincing, people. She really is very, very convincing. So we leave. She looks at the baby as the baby cries a little bit, and I'm hoping that she snaps out of it. I don't want them to drag this out for the whole half of season. The whole half of season 9. As they're sitting there, she hears a knock on the door. She actually picks up her phone to listen to her voice messages. She hears a knock at the door, and so does Aaron. Karen gets up and walks to the door. When she opens it, bingo, it's Zach. He's saying, can I talk to you? And I knew this scene was going to happen towards the end of the episode. I knew we wasn't going to see exactly what the conversation was about into the next episode. I definitely seen it. And you could see in her face, she felt bad, but I think she was happy to see him. So we move from there, and the last scene of this episode was Maurice coming over to help Sabrina get ready for her date, and this was for the speed dating event, and she had some clothes out, and Maurice was over it like Sabrina no. So he brings her some clothes. She go in and she tries on the clothes, and she decides on this little black dress, which looked great on her. And that's how the episode ends before she goes on the speed dating. Now, that was the end of episode 6. I feel like episode 6 wasn't really much to episode 6. I enjoyed it very much. I had some people say, oh yeah, it was all right. It wasn't really all that, but it wasn't supposed to be. It was just like informational when it came to especially what's going on with Karen and what's going on with Andy trying to get this thing straight for Karen. I believe as the season go on, people, we're going to see a little twists and turns. We're going to see some things going down that we didn't expect from what I know. From what I read, it's going to be things that we didn't expect that's going to happen, especially the friction that is going to come with Fatima and Andy. I believe that they're going to get through that friction, though, and I think they're going to start their own firm, which I cannot wait to see. As far as Miss Marie go, Miss Marie was not in this scene. I don't know how much of Miss Marie we're going to see and how much of Gary we're going to see, because we haven't seen Gary, and we're up to episode 6, right? So I'm assuming that is Gary may come back the end of the end of the first part of season 9, because we have 2 parts to season 9. So I believe either Gary is going to come back the end of season 9 part 1, or he'll be in the beginning of season 9 part 2, right? So they have 2 parts. Now, that's when it's going to get even more crazy, because if you guys pay attention to these season and these episodes, when they break the episodes in half, we normally get like maybe out of 1 out of 10. We may get the episodes for the first part like a 8 or a 7, but then when we go into the second part, because remember we're going into a new season, that's when they bring in a bunch of drama at one time, because they're ending for the actual full season. So this first part, people, you gotta remember, we're gonna have some good episodes and some lackluster episodes. Some episodes where it'd be like, all right, yeah, I wouldn't even rewatch it, but it was good. So far, so good with Sisters. I think that they all are doing a good job. Again, I just don't want them to drag out this situation with Karen. I want them to move forward with it so we can see what drama is really going to happen with Aaron and Karen, right? Because there's definitely going to be some drama there. And I would like for Zach and Fatima to move forward in their relationship. And I know that Fatima is going to wind up being a lawyer, because she is a lawyer in Fatima. For the new season of Fatima. I'm just hoping that we get to see it in Sisters, because a lot of stuff they just bypass when it comes to Sisters, when it comes to Fatima and Zach storyline. Like, we didn't even know that all of them knew that Fatima was pregnant. So I want to go back and see when Fatima even told all of them. I don't remember that part. The only person I remember knowing that Fatima was pregnant is Karen, right? And I believe Karen told Aaron. But other than that, people, that is the end of that's the end of my review for Sisters Season 6. Next up, I'll do a deep dive into the trailer for Season 7, and I will post that tomorrow. So again, people, thanks for sharing, and subscribing on this video. I want to see what you guys thought about this actual episode. So if you listen to this video to the end, I would like for you to drop a rating from 1 to 9. Let me know how you guys like this actual episode. So stay tuned for tomorrow's deep dive into the trailer of episode Sister Season 9, episode 7. Stay tuned.